Here's what most people miss about the homestead garden. It wasn't a hobby. It was a fully functioning biological system designed to keep a family healthy when there was no doctor, no drugstore, and no delivery truck coming. The plants in that system weren't chosen for looks. They were chosen because generations of growers, soldiers, and physicians documented what they actually did. 10 of those plants show up again and again across every serious historical record, and the modern data confirms what those growers already knew. We're going to walk through all 10 and the mechanism behind each one. Number 1, sage. Sage didn't earn its place on the windowsill because it smells good. It earned it because Salvia officinalis contains thujone and rosmarinic acid, both of which have documented antimicrobial activity against the kinds of pathogens that spoil meat and infect wounds. Before refrigeration existed, homesteaders rubbed fresh sage into cured meats to slow spoilage and brewed it into a gargle for infected gums and sore throats. Those two applications sound worlds apart, but they're running on the same chemistry. Modern studies confirm sage extracts show activity against multiple bacterial and fungal strains. Number 2, thyme. Armies don't carry plants into combat for sentimental reasons. During both World Wars, thyme oil got used as a field antiseptic when conventional supplies ran out, and that fact alone should shift how you think about Thymus vulgaris. The active compound is thymol, and thymol isn't gentle. It's the same molecule used in commercial mouthwashes and some hospital-grade disinfectants. So it's worth asking how a plant that produces something strong enough for surgical use ended up labeled a culinary herb, while pharmaceutical versions of the same molecule sell at a markup. Number 3, rosemary. Students in ancient Greece wore rosemary garlands during exams, and that sounds like superstition until you look at what Rosmarinus officinalis actually does to brain chemistry. The compound behind it is 1,8-cineol, and it absorbs through inhalation, not just ingestion. Studies have measured elevated blood plasma levels of 1,8-cineol in people who simply spent time in a room diffused with rosemary aroma, and those same people scored better on cognitive speed and accuracy tests. The Greeks were right about the mechanism. They just didn't have the vocabulary to describe it. On the homestead, rosemary also worked as a circulatory stimulant for joint pain, applied as an infused oil, and its carnosic acid content slowed fat oxidation in stored meats, well enough that the food industry now uses rosemary extract commercially as a preservative, listed right there on the ingredient label of your deli meat. Number 4, mint. If you read through historical records of what homestead families actually dealt with daily, digestive problems show up constantly. Bad water, preserved food, physical stress. The gut was under chronic pressure, and mentha piperita was the primary tool for managing it. Menthol, the active compound, activates cold-sensitive receptors in the gut that relax smooth muscle. It's a calcium channel blocker acting directly on the gastrointestinal tract, and clinical trials using enteric-coated peppermint oil capsules have produced results solid enough to get serious attention in gastroenterology research. Number 5, chamomile. The Sleepy Time Tea Association has done real damage to chamomile's reputation. Matricaria chamomilla isn't a bedtime novelty. It's a systemic anti-inflammatory that homesteaders happen to administer at night, and the timing was smart medicine. The flower contains apigenin, which binds to the same receptors in the brain that benzodiazepine drugs target, so the sedative effect is real and the mechanism is well documented. Number 6, calendula. Medieval battlefield surgeons used Calendula officinalis. Civil War field medics used it too. That kind of consistency across centuries and continents doesn't happen by accident. It happens because the plant works on open wounds when nothing else is available. The flowers contain triterpenoids, flavonoids, and polysaccharides that work together to fight infection and reduce inflammation. But the part that separates calendula from most wound plants is that it actively stimulates new tissue growth. Clinical studies have documented faster epithelialization, meaning new skin cells migrate across the wound faster in calendula-treated injuries compared to controls. Homesteaders made calendula-infused oil by packing flowers into a carrier oil, leaving it on a dark shelf for several weeks, then applying it directly to cuts, burns, and cracked skin. Number 7, comfrey. Older herbals called Symphytum officinale knit bone, and that wasn't poetry. Allantoin, the compound it produces, directly speeds up cell division in damaged tissue, so homesteaders who packed comfrey poultices onto sprains and fractures weren't guessing. They were watching it work fast enough to trust it. Now, it's worth being straight about the safety picture. Comfrey also contains pyrrolizidine alkaloids, which are hard on the liver when taken internally over time. Modern herbalists and regulatory bodies agree. External use only. That's not a dismissal. It's a refinement, and it lines up with how most homesteaders actually used it anyway. Applied to the skin, allantoin reaches underlying muscle, tendon, and bone. Clinical trials have shown comfrey root extract produces comparable outcomes to a common pharmaceutical anti-inflammatory for acute sprains. Number 8. Yarrow. Achillea millefolium gets its genus name from Achilles, who reportedly packed it onto his soldiers' wounds in the field. Whether that specific story holds up or not, yarrow shows up in military medical records from ancient Greece straight through to the American Civil War, always for the same reason. It stops bleeding fast. It works through two mechanisms at once. Achylein speeds up the clotting cascade while astringent tannins cause blood vessels to contract on contact. So you're getting clotting and vasoconstriction simultaneously, which is why it outperforms single-mechanism interventions. Homesteaders also brewed it as a fever tea because it promotes sweating, which was standard fever management before antipyretic drugs existed. Modern research confirms its anti-inflammatory and antispasmodic properties, with the topical hemostatic action being the most consistently supported by available data. Number 9. Garlic. During World War I, British and Russian military physicians applied raw garlic juice directly to wounds to prevent gangrene when antiseptic supplies ran out. Garlic got distributed as a military medical supply. That's documented military pharmacology, not folk medicine. The active compound in Allium sativum is allicin, but allicin only forms when you crush or chop the clove, because that physical damage triggers a chemical reaction between two compounds that stay separate until then. Number 10. Rhubarb. Rhubarb's reputation got buried under pie filling, and that's a shame, because before the 19th century, Rhum rhabarbarum root traded on the Silk Road at prices that beat most spices. Merchants weren't moving it across continents for dessert. They were moving it because it worked on the gut in a way nothing else quite matched. The mechanism is dose-dependent, which is unusual. Small amounts of root produce an astringent binding effect that slows diarrhea, because the tannins tighten things up. Larger amounts push the anthraquinone compound imodin into action,